Last time on Gaming Through the Ages, I played Grand Theft Auto 5 from 2013 on the PlayStation 3, which had me blown away the entire time I played it. Initially, I gave the in-depth story mode a go, but soon moved on to exploring the huge map myself. I barely even scratched the surface of what the world had to offer, even after exploring a wide range of different places all packed with tiny details that gave the world such a realistic feeling. I could barely explain everything I saw in the last episode itself, let alone in this brief description of the last episode, so go ahead and watch the GTA 5 episode if you haven't already. Will future games continue to amaze us with their realistic graphics and huge detailed worlds? Keep watching to find out. Welcome to Gaming Through the Ages, the series where we take a look at games from many different genres and consoles through time, from 1975 to now in chronological order. Once we've reached modern times, we start back at 1975 and explore a different group of games. Viewers of this series were given the opportunity to pick any game made in 2014 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One or Nintendo Wii U, but unfortunately, emulation for those consoles wasn't perfect when this video was recorded in 2016. Although, I must admit, CMU, the Wii U emulator, isn't doing too bad. To keep the current phase going a little longer, however, viewers were given the opportunity to choose a free-to-play PlayStation 3 game released in 2014. This game revolves around flying aeroplanes while engaging in combat, thus why it's labelled a combat flight simulator. It also happens to be set in the near future, yet in an alternate timeline with a history that differs from our own. This is a free-to-play game though, and although they are free to download, they usually force you to spend money in order to get a proper balanced experience. How far will we get before being asked to deposit money? Keep watching to find out. Okay, let's go to the PlayStation Store. That's right, I forgot to put in the Ethernet cable. Okay, here we are back again, going into the PlayStation... how do we even get into this? Hurry up, you slow PlayStation 3 store. Search. Okay, so today we are going to play... where is it? With this slow scrolling thing. My gosh, this is so slow. Ace Combat Infinity, yes! Now, as you can see, this game is free to just download right off the bat. 5.1 gigabytes. Are you kidding me? This is going to take ages. This is a free-to-play game. But the catch is, if you look down here, there's a lot of add-ons or in-app purchases if we're talking about iPhones. Basically, just a bunch of stuff that it's going to try and force you to buy. For 12 hours, you can become an elite mercenary contract or whatever for $1.45, and you can demand additional rewards, so increase the amount of credits earned. Generally, free-to-play games are unbalanced if you just play them normally, and they kind of force you to spend money if you want a more balanced experience. Anyway, let's start downloading. I'll see you in 75... is it 5? I'll see you in 75... oh, jeez, stop changing! I'll see you in 70... I'll see you in 73... Stop this! I'll see you in 74 minutes. Okay, finally it's finished downloading, so let's start up Ace Combat Infinity. Oh no, you're kidding me. It has to install now. Okay, it looks like the game is finally finished installing. Let's get playing. I've been waiting for hours. I don't want to please wait any longer. Now that was a freaky sound. Oh, you're kidding me. I've got to do an update. Make that 11 updates. Oh my gosh. Okay, one day later we are finally ready to start. Cryware. Okay, so this is Ace Combat Infinity. Let's start game. So this game features an autosave function. This is obviously an online game, as we can see. It's constantly wanting internet connection here. Choose your country. Are you kidding me? So Oceania, or whatever you call it, or Australia is not a main... What about the US? Are you kidding me? So they've got the UK, but the US and Australia is in other? I am seriously offended. Okay, others. Wow, this is a long user agreement. I'm reading all this, yep. Okay, agree. Who reads those anyway? Okay, uploading player information. It must be uploading like my PSN account or something. Welcome to Ace Combat Infinity. Guide control types. Start by setting your control type. Standard or expert. So standard allows for a more traditional gameplay experience. Simply pushing the left stick horizontally will automatically perform all controls required to turn in that direction. Expert. Oh, so this is more like realistic. Turning is performed using 2 stages, roll, tilting the aircraft, and pitch, moving the nose up and... oh my gosh, that's complicated. Okay, let's just be standard, because I'm not training to be a real pilot here. We're going to do a flight tutorial now to teach us about controlling and attacking with our aircraft. Yes. Flight tutorial. Fly your aircraft in accordance with the instructor's command. It's nice big text, easy to read, and it's not hard to read like white against a difficult background. Oh my goodness, this is fairly realistic.
Welcome to your flight training test. You are cleared for takeoff. Winds are 360 degrees and 10 knots. Winds are
360 degrees. I'm not 100%, I'm trying to think, is that like 360 degrees? I'm guessing that must be straight ahead.
Once again, you are cleared for takeoff.
Let's accelerate. Oh wow, the controller's vibrating.
Are you reading me? Please begin your takeoff.
There we go. Speed. Oh, I like how it's got like the speed as like a HUD on the screen.
Radar. Coming in loud and clear. Commencing flight test. We'll start by checking your aircraft. Let's test your ascent and descent capabilities.
Okay.
Raise your pitch and ascent.
Up.
Good.
Oh crud, I'm stuck upside down! I want to go down. Okay. Down. That looks like Google Earth.
Alright.
So you push up to go down and push down to go up.
Let's test out turning. Try turning your aircraft to the right.
This is a very basic tutorial.
Aircraft to the left. That's it.
I'm just going to see if I can turn music off because I'm just worried. Unfortunately, I cannot find settings to turn off music. So if YouTube kills me, it's all this game's fault.
Good. Now, use your auto level control to go back to level flight.
Okay. There we go.
Now, use your yaw control to move horizontally right.
Horizontally right. Oh, I see. There are so many different controls here. This is insane. The Earth is very blurry. Look at that. That is very... the cars are like blurry pixels. And as you can see, the...
that wraps up the basics.
Just wait.
Next, we'll test acceleration and deceleration. Increase your throttle to build speed.
Here we go. Let's build some speed up.
Well done. Next, decrease your throttle to lower your speed. Alright, speed checks confirmed. Now I need you to perform a high G turn.
How do you do this? Whoa, okay, I see. Oh, crud, 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 crud. That was dangerous.
Next up, you've got an ordnance test for your standard missiles. Approach the dummy target up ahead and lock onto it from standard missile.
It's a long way away.
Alright, you're in range. Fire a missile. You're in range and locked on. Fire a missile. Target destroyed. Nice work.
That was easy.
Next, we need to check your radar equipment. Use your search radar to find and attack the dummy targets. Your search radar can be used for a mid or wide range battle map.
Okay, we're gonna kill these dummies. Oh crud, crud. Oh, I missed it. Where's this dummy gone? I can't see it. Oh, there it is.
You need to attack the dummy targets.
Ah, it's so hard to aim. There we go.
Target 1 destroyed.
Now for the next dummy. Okay, I'm gonna slow down here. It comes up fast. Okay. There we go. Okay, we'll get this last dummy now.
Dummy target 3 destroyed. 3 targets left.
What? Ah, they're behind me. Before we do any more, let's just take a little look at the graphics first of all. It's kind of like a blurry version of Google Earth. Wait, let me go up high and get that real Google Earth feeling. I like how as we go up, you can kind of feel the plane shaking, like the screen shaking itself, and feeling the controller shake sometimes. Anyway, okay, a bit too high, we're up on the ground. But like, that reminds you of Google Earth. That looks very much like we're kind of, you know, zooming in onto Google Earth. But it is quite blurry, unfortunately. And not all the buildings are 3D. Like, look, there's some buildings here that are 3D, crud. But a lot of them aren't 3D. A lot of them are flat, so they haven't gone into making all buildings 3D. And the buildings that are 3D, they don't look too bad, actually. They do look pretty clear. Yeah, generally the 3D models for the buildings, I'm going a bit... I can't go too close because I'll crash the plane. But generally they do look fairly good. They're not fantastic 3D models, but they're fairly clear. I mean, the fact is, you're up in an aeroplane, there's lots of 3D models everywhere. And obviously you couldn't make all these buildings 3D because the game would just not run very well on the PS3. It'd be way too many models for it to handle. As for the trees, let's take a little look at the trees. Definitely though, the ground resolution is way too blurry, especially when you go up this close. The trees, oh, are these 2D? Oh, I'm trying to work this out. What is this? Yes! Those are 2D trees, it looks like. I saw, as I went up to a tree, if you focus on one tree and then spin around the tree, you'll notice it's kind of like always facing you. That's what the trees are doing. So these are 2D trees, but I understand when it comes to a flight simulator, this is not something like a Grand Theft Auto game where you're on the ground and, you know, among the city. The game itself, the map is very, very blurry and, you know, it's not fantastic. But the idea is you're in the air, you're not actually exploring the map down there, and it's such a big map too. I mean, the game's already massive as it is in the amount of gigabytes we saw there, so... Anyway, let's find the dummy planes now. I like how you can see the, you know, clouds moving towards you and you can fly through the clouds. It's not like just they're part of a skybox. I'm sure some of the clouds are part of a skybox, but these are what I'd call 3D clouds. I'm actually flying through them. Okay, let's slow down. Get this one, yup. Oh, crud.
One target left.
Crud. Oh. I like how the explosion flicks onto the screen at you. That's pretty realistic. Okay. Do you want to end the flight tutorial? Yes. To celebrate you signing in for the first time or after a period of absence, you've received the following welcome/comeback signing bonus. Special ticket supply. 400 times. This is obviously something you usually have to buy or something like that with real money. 100,000 credits. You've received 10,000. Do I just receive like a bunch of gifts? Oh, okay, so each time you sign in you get like a different bonus. So the second time I sign in, the third time I sign in, I see. Okay, so it recommends we start off with campaign mode. We'll follow a story while learning a variety of techniques vital to being a top pilot. Oh, and now suddenly I see sound. I don't think I saw sound before, but we can put down the background music so I don't get in trouble via YouTube if I haven't already. We'll have the voice volume up a little bit. Everything I do, when I change some options, it's constantly updating my information, so it's very much an online game. So credits, 90,000 credits is like our money, currency. Fuel, we've got 3 of 3. Okay, let's start up the campaign. Buy unlimited campaign play ticket. This ticket allows for unlimited campaign play. Sortie fuel will not be required when playing missions 1 to 8 in the campaign, and credits will not be required for unlocking missions. So these are in-app purchase. These are like trying to get you to spend real world money. There you go. In order to get a free flight ticket to fly freely in the skies, you have to pay $10. So no, we do not want that. See, this is what free-to-play games are. They kind of cut back the game a little bit, and if you want to do certain features, they're like, oh yep, that'll be $10, thanks. And the fact that we've got this sortie fuel 3 out of 3, I have a feeling that the fuel will run out, and then it'll be like, okay, to continue playing, you'll need to spend real money to fuel up your aircraft. Yeah, I can just see that happening. Anyway, let's start a new campaign. Lost Butterfly. And this is set on May 1st, 2019. Well, this is a cool looking operating system.
It'll be 20 years to the day soon. The day the sky was ripped apart and countless bolts of light rained down upon us. I think this calls for a little history lesson. In 1994, a group of astronauts was discovered taking a long elliptical orbit around the sun. They were created when an unknown asteroid struck the 1986 VG-1 Ulysses, an asteroid in orbit around Jupiter. The orbit of these Ulysses asteroids was on a collision course with Earth with an estimated 10,000 meteors set to strike the surface. Since there was no way to divert the orbit of each asteroid,
I don't remember this.
Construction began on a vast anti-air railgun network, a last-ditch effort to intercept and destroy the meteors. They built 6 facilities. The test unit Type 0 was built in China. Type 1 was built in America, and then 4 Type 5 units were built in Australia, Turkey, Namibia, and Argentina. In July 1999, the asteroids began to strike.
I do not remember this.
Thanks to the railgun network, damage was kept to a bare minimum. Only about enough to destroy the entire world order.
Yeah, this did not happen. This is an alternative history.
It came to be called the Ulysses disaster. The near-total loss of infrastructure led to economic chaos, particularly in the hard-hit Eurasian continent. To avoid total breakdown,
oh,
the
goodbye,
nations of Asia
Sydney
and Southern Europe
and
rearranged
Brisbane.
themselves into regional federations. Military budgets were slashed, and the Federation poured most of their money into rebuilding. The depletion of energy sources brought on by the loss of territory soon proved to be a major problem, one that quickly led to an escalation in disputes over natural resources.
It's interesting to see how much of a storyline these guys have actually developed here. There's a lot of, you know, alternate history and storyline going on. That's interesting. It's kind of like one of those what-if games.
We've got a new guy here today, but I'll have to cut the introduction short. My name's Goodfellow, and I'm your rep from the Arrows. As you know, Arrows is a mercenary force specializing in aerial warfare. Some people like to call us pirates. I prefer they'd call us privateers, at least. We are being employed by the UN Security Council, after all. Anyway, the UNSC's Military Staff Committee just sent Arrows a request for deployment. It was originally going to be an escort mission for the UNF Pacific Fleet stationed in Tokyo Bay, but that's changed. We now have multiple unknown UAVs flying toward Area J4E, Japan's former capital.
I feel like this is a job and I'm given a brief of what to do to save the world.
The UAVs are likely armed. We need them downed before they reach city limits. This will be the first sortie for the rookie here. TAC name, Reaper. Here's your emblem. Omega from the Bone Arrow Flight will be supporting you on this mission. Follow his instructions. I'll be expecting results, you hear? Dismissed.
Okay, so let's start mission. So this is a selection of fuel guide. In order to sortie on a mission... What's this sortie? This is probably a word that actually means something and I've never seen it before. In order to sortie on a mission, you need to select a type of sortie fuel. I'm sorry if I'm not saying this word right. To supply your aircraft with. So sortie fuel is supplied at fixed intervals. Ah, I see. So it sounds like an additional fuel can be obtained by playing the game. It can also be purchased from the store. So obviously the idea is you're going to run out of fuel and you could wait for these fixed intervals to get more fuel, or if you're impatient and you just want to keep playing the game, you can get some more fuel by paying for it. That is another one of those microtransaction things that this free-to-play game forces you to pay money with. Technically you're not being forced, but if you want a balanced experience, they're just making an annoyance in the game and stripping out features and forcing you to pay for them. But at the same time, if this was a full game, you'd pay for it anyway. So free-to-play games are controversial in what they do. Some people prefer to just try a game first and then pay money. Some people prefer to just pay for the game and not worry about money after that point. Select the aircraft to use. Okay. So we've got the name and the level of the aircraft, okay. Oh, and you can rent aircraft. Oh, that's cool. So it sounds like you can rent and buy, maybe. I'll just go with the rental one.
A lot of meteor dust in the air again today. Hard to believe it's already been 20 years, huh? And the sky's still full.
Oh, look at that cool meteor there. Oh my gosh.
This is the JASDF 309 Squadron requesting affiliation. This is Omega from Arrow's Bone Arrow Squadron working under independent UN command. We're here on operational support. The pirates, huh? HQ told us to expect you. Good luck out there. Yeah, you too.
Red fellow to all bone arrows. We will now commence mission operations. Engage any enemy craft you come across.
Okay, let's go.
Omega affirmative. Bandits on our 12. Public surveillance UAVs.
Oh, these are moving targets.
Keep yourself together.
I can't get it.
These drones are.
Oh yes, yes, did it. Oh my gosh, I felt the explosion in my hands. That wasn't too hard.
Enemy UAVs down. All units, we got new bandits approaching. Use your long-range search to get their location. Switch to your wide-range battle map. The locator on your HUD. Show the direction.
Crud, I almost crashed in midair with another plane.
Remember, you can't fire missiles while you're reloading. Classic rookie mistake.
Ah, where is he? Whoa! Crud, that came up so fast. Did you see? I was just in the clouds and then just suddenly a city appeared below me and I was about to crash. Oh my god.
You can't expect to just lock on and forget here. Chase the bandit down to the upper 6. Fire missile.
There we go.
Another enemy player approaching.
More of them?
Be careful.
That is a lot of 3D models down below us. My goodness, look at that city.
Display on your HUD container. Take those down before anything else.
General purpose drone designed by JASTF. Might just be a close resemblance.
I'll check on that craft later. Just focus on the attack.
Rookie! Take him down!
I've got to admit this game is, so far from what I've seen, is quite repetitive. I'm just following planes around and shooting them. But at the same time, I can't judge. I haven't seen much of the game yet. But I mean, with racing games, they're repetitive too. You just drive around in a car and try and come first most of the time.
All UAVs destroyed. Good work.
All radar blips? What the hell?
Enemy UAVs approaching. Open CIWS fire. All units, eliminate them before there's any more damage.
Damage report! Evacuation order out for the coastal areas. If this keeps up, though, the evacuation zones might be in danger, too. Move it, Rookie! Hit on port side! Damage control, move!
You may notice me not talking much. The thing is, there is so much storyline here and just dialogue that it's not really giving me a chance to speak about stuff, but I do like this because it's very immersive. I'm not just reading things on the screen, I'm listening to all their voices and they're discussing what's happening. It's just extremely immersive. It's really, really good. Oh, crud. Oh, yikes. Oh, what's all that black stuff? Oh, crud, there's attacks going on down here. It's flying everywhere. This would be interesting in virtual reality, actually.
Don't waste your fire, man. Running out of ammo is bad news.
He actually commented on me running out of ammo because I was just kind of shooting aimlessly. They really do kind of chat and tell you what's going on. I really like it. I don't feel like it's a game talking to me. I feel like it's a team I'm working with to save the world working with me.
No further enemy presence in this airspace.
359 bullets left.
JASTF-309. Thanks for your support. Glad to be of service.
I'm getting the latest damage report now. Looks like they didn't reach the evacuation zones. Not too shabby, Reaper.
These things, Quark scrapped, you said? Why would they be striking Tokyo?
I'll get the UNF to brief me on the UAVs later. All units, clear to return home.
Oh, so this is Tokyo. Oh, yeah. It's just told me that before, I just completely forgot.
This is believed to be a terrorist attack carried out by armed forces from the Iuli region. They've caused extensive damage to Tokyo. The naval fleet was also attacked, so the UNF generals are all furious right now. The UAVs they used are an upgraded version of the MQ-90 Quaks, a Japanese-made UAV that's also been deployed in the Americas. It may be unmanned, but it's still a very powerful bomber. It's equipped with an aggressive aerodynamic design and a new type of semi-automatic control system. The UNSC says it's a Werner NOAA product. Apparently the control system's a top-secret design that they stole. Werner denies everything, of course. Navigation would normally use a system that relies on improved GPS satellite tech, but this craft uses a different relay system for its operations. We also caught an unknown fighter craft flying at high altitude over the area. The UN's going to raid and inspect Werner's facilities in Iuli and the other special zones shortly. Werner NOAA is the biggest company in its field. Normally, the UN doesn't like doing anything to make them angry. Now, though, I guess they don't have much choice.
I've got to say, sometimes I'm feeling like the storyline in this game is a bit too in-depth. The gameplay itself is quite basic so far, I'm just shooting things in the air. But then the storyline is super in-depth. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or not, because I mean, am I watching a movie or playing a game? But at the same time, it adds to the immersion of the game. Sometimes though, if I'm sitting around just listening to a bunch of conversation or what's going on, it becomes a bit overwhelming. You have obtained credits as a reward. 200? That's not very many, considering I've got 90,000. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Sortie fuel, 2 out of 3. Until next fuel supply, 3 hours and 50 minutes. So I'm now assuming it's probably every 4 hours you get a bit more fuel. So basically, from what I'm seeing, you'd probably do only about 3 missions a day, and then you wait till you do more missions till your fuel, like, fills up again, or you get more fuel supply. So that's how they're trying to force you. They try and kind of make these missions, and that really wasn't a long mission, kind of these short missions, and, you know, within an hour you're going to have to probably pay money in order to keep playing, or you can just wait and play the rest another day or something like that. Anyway, let's come out of the missions for now and check out the hangar. So you can check research progress for aircraft and parts. Oh, interesting. So it's a little bit more in-depth than I thought here. You place an order with a manufacturing plant for aircraft or parts when the research has been completed. Then you equipped aircraft you own with parts and special weapons. Okay, look at all these options here. And you can purchase game-related items as a microtransaction to accelerate things a bit. It's unbalanced and you have to pay to make it balanced, but then you can make it unbalanced if you pay too much, so it's really weird. Let's view the aircraft tree. Oh, okay, so these are different things you research here. Oh my gosh, these guides are so big. It's very advanced. Look at this big tree here, and it talks about all these different places. Whoa, okay, this is a huge tree. How many different look at this tree! How many different aircraft and parts and stuff are there here? This is insane. Oh my gosh. And then you make an aircraft set here and edit the set and change the aircraft. Oh, and then these are other ones you can order, and they've all got different stats and attack and stability and mobility. This is one of those games that looks really, really, really in-depth with a lot of, you know, options and things. And it even has online co-op missions. So it's pretty much time to move on to the next game now, but before we do, let's have a little chat. Overall here, the graphics were decent enough for what this is, a flight simulator game. Obviously, if this was like a racing game, the graphics are really trash. But this is not a racing game, this is a flight simulator game, and it's very demanding. As you saw, there was a ton of 3D models there. Like, not even every building was 3D, a lot of it was just flat, blurry ground. But one day in the future, it will be interesting to see if flight simulators get to the point where you're flying over a city, every single building is 3D, and you can see people walking along the ground and cars driving along with full open world, like, you know, across the entire world. Maybe that'll be what it is one day. Maybe one day it'll be a full animated Earth as if you're flying around the real world. That would be really cool, with 3D models for absolutely everything. But we've still got 2D sprites for the trees. Pretty decent, like, it's not fantastic, but decent 3D models for the buildings, and quite a lot of them. It's just a shame about the blurry ground. But apart from that, everything else is pretty awesome. And it is free to try out and play, but you're going to be encouraged to spend quite a bit of money if you're playing this game. But you can technically play it for free. So feel free to get it from the PlayStation Store. Just make sure you've got a fast internet connection and have a lot of patience, because it took a long time to download the game, then install it, then get all the updates. It was just insane. Anyway, it's now time to move on to the next game. So where to next from here? The year in the next episode will be 2015, which introduced the release of a few new consoles, if you can really call them that. As of 2015 in the PC world, Steam is a popular digital distribution platform where users can buy games for their computers and download them all within the Steam software. This allows gamers to have their games permanently linked to their accounts and accessed on whatever computer they like. What does this have to do with consoles, you may be asking? Well, say hello to the Steam Machine. Or should I say machines? These are basically just ultra small PCs that give you easy access to play the games in your PC Steam library. Most Steam machines run SteamOS, but some can dual boot with Microsoft Windows. The Steam Machine is also compatible with the Steam controller, making these mini PC experiences very similar to the experiences you'd get on a console. Sadly, this first phase of gaming through the ages is about to come to an end. Before we say goodbye to this phase, however, we still have one more PlayStation 3 game to play. And yes, although the PS4 is now released, PlayStation 3 consoles and games are still being pumped out of the hose. It looks like someone is turning off the tap though, as PS3 releases are getting further and further apart. The PlayStation 3 is still for sale in most parts of the world, but it has been discontinued in New Zealand. So before we start Phase 2, the computer phase, and jump back to 1975 again, stay tuned for 2015's Battlefield Hardline on the PlayStation 3, followed by the Phase 1 review video. video. I'll see you guys next time on Gaming Through the Ages.